Check this out.
Internal right now.
You know, it goes on Facebook. and
Now you
everything.
notice it.
Okay.
That way people that didn't come
It's
to
good
the
to make
meeting.
that clear.
So, let's bring this meeting to order. Second planning meeting of Winter Haven. I'm going to say a few things, and some people might not like it, but it's got to be said over and over, obviously. Stop overthinking this project, please. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. This is going to be 1,000 times easier than the sleep out last year because we have control of who comes in and who goes out, where last year we didn't. And we weren't half as organized as we are this year as we were last year. So I'm begging everybody, please stop overthinking this. Please stop trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be. It's simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And I'll say it over and over. It's really hard for me when I got people trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be, which adds more work to me to try to figure out how we're going to implement it. So please, I'm not directing this at anybody, I'm just directing this. Let your volunteers know, don't make this complicated, please.
Can I change one thing?
What?
Can we call it keep it simple silly?
No?
No, stupid's good. It's not calling it
Jason,
stupid.
that sounds kind of
But keep it so simple that if you were really stupid, you could still understand.
Okay, so I want to go over a few things where Winter Haven's at to catch everybody up that doesn't know right now. The permit will be issued either on the 18th, which is Wednesday. Wait,
Yes,
Tuesday. Is it 18th?
Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Yes, it'll be issued
Tuesday.
Tuesday or Thursday. The fence is arriving possibly tomorrow. I have to talk to the city and see if we can store it. We can't set it up, but Paul Barris wants to get it delivered tomorrow because he wants to go to Hawaii. I don't understand why he can't wait until Friday to go to Hawaii, but he wants to go sooner. So that's where that's at. Once the permit is issued, the next day we can start setting up at our own risk. And let me explain at our own risk. We set up, once they issue the permit, we can start setting up the site. Nobody can occupy the site at the earliest January 2nd because there's a 14-day appeal period. If somebody appeals the permit, which we know that somebody's going to because they just have such a big heart, then that's another 14-day process. If we lose the appeal, we have to take everything down and remove it from the site. I've been assured, and I'm very confident in our proposal, that we followed the ordinance to the T. There's nothing that the person appealing it is going to find that would get the appeal upheld. He'll lose the appeal. So we have decided as a board, we are setting up at our own risk that we might have to take it back down. The reason we're doing that is because if we wait until the appeal process is over, it'll be another 10 days before anybody can get on there, where if we set up now, then if nobody appeals it on January 2nd, we can occupy January 2nd. So we have made that decision. So next Friday, the fence arrives. I've got a thing up on Facebook to start setting up the fence on Friday. Tidal Vision, who is where we build our shower truck, for those that don't know, has offered to pay for a rental flatbed truck for us to haul the pallets. On the 22nd of Saturday, we will go get the pallets from Perry Pallet Company in Ferndale and bring them on site, and then once they're on site, and then we're going to transfer everything out of Winter Haven storage into the storage container unit that will be delivered on Friday also, and lock it up. Then there is no work the 23rd, 24th, 25th. There will be work the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. And then we'll take New Year's off, and then hopefully people will be able to occupy. So that's where we're at. Just let me think 1 second if there's anything else I'm missing. I know some people wanted to change the date that we interview homeless people. I can't do it because of the schedule. It's just the way the schedule's been set out, and I can't just change it at the last second because that's going to throw off the setup times. So Thursday we will be doing interviews with the homeless people to figure out who goes in and gets in Winter Haven. There won't be a final decision that day. That is the day I pick out the names. We get the names. I turn them over to the chief of police. He runs a wants and warrants on them. If they all pass wants and warrants check, then they will be omitted. If anybody fails a wants and warrants check, well, of course they're out. Unless it's a misdemeanor for Bellingham, then the chief and I are going to advocate with the court system to take care of that warrant so they can get in. It depends on what the warrant would be for. If it's misdemeanors, well, pretty much we can get it. If it's a felony, there's not much I can do, not much the chief is willing to do. He could do a lot, but he's not willing to. But he's willing to take a risk on misdemeanors.
It's a lot of bigger lump to take.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. I don't think I missed anything right now. We're waiting on one more piece of the puzzle to be filled out till the permit's issued. Because we have the insurance, we turned it into them, they said, yeah, it's great. Then at the last hour on Thursday, the city attorney goes, no, it's not great. We need you to add 2 more things. So we had to take it back to the insurance company and they had to rewrite the whole policy again because, and even the insurance agent's like, I've never heard of this. Why are they adding this? But the city's afraid of getting sued, so they're covering everything they can to make sure that if something goes bad, they can walk away smelling like roses, and it's all on us. So.
Insurance is for that too. They're never afraid to get sued. That's a lie.
So that's where we're at. So I would like to get a report from all the leads that we had from last time and see where they're at. And I'll let JC take over from here. I will probably interject a lot because I'm doing a lot in the background that people aren't seeing. And I might be able to speed some processes along. That
Quick question regarding what you were just speaking.
Yes.
Is the lawyer the person that I think it is? We've had this discussion.
No.
It's not the one.
It's
Okay.
the same one that's suing the drop-in center.
Okay, because I know the one that we were thinking, so then it's not him, that's fine. Because I can maybe talk to him if you wanted me to, because why
No,
not?
It's not.
All right, we're out.
That was on my mind actually. Is that been considered to have somebody that's very diplomatic?
Or somebody that knows a guy. I thought it was a guy I knew.
Knows the guy.
And so it's like, I'm going to go and
I know
like,
you don't want to
hey.
share the name, but has the board talked about that?
Yeah,
Approaching this
but
person and just explaining.
hopefully he's showing up at the Wednesday night meeting, and then I can corner him on my own
Mhm.
and say, "Listen, dude, how much money do you want?" No, but or how much is your life worth?
Oh, there you go.
But I've read his letter. His concerns are the same damn concerns that we hear since day one of Homes Now. It's the same concerns I've heard for 25 years. It's the same lies, same fear. So I don't see anything's going to change his mind. He's just, he wants the homeless to just die and go away.
So it's a personal thing. He said he's an attorney. He's not representing somebody that's, it's a.
No, it's an
his own
attorney
personal-
with a business nearby.
He's representing his business interests, but at the drop-in center, he is representing all the businesses
In that sector.
in that sector.
Right. Including the one that I thought it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
So let's move on.
so I brought our updates from yesterday's orientation, and that's in front of Charlie and Danielle right there. So I basically compiled all of our volunteers that have already gone ahead and enlisted with us for the next few days. So the ones for the fence are listed. We have 4 people listed so far to help us with the fence. So I encourage everyone to kind of like let your friends know we really need people on that day.
We really need strength.
We're setting that
It's
fence
nice.
up on our own, so we really need a few more people willing to do that. I've got a roster at home. I'm gonna start making calls for all the people that have signed up for construction off of our website and see if they're willing to come out there and pitch in a little bit on that day. So that's gonna start Monday morning. I'm gonna get that
You
going.
say we only have 4 people?
4 people on a list from yesterday's orientation.
Oh, from yesterday, and we got 6 people on sign up.
Yeah, okay, great.
Who here is gonna be at the fence? Because then we can just add people's names.
We can do that,
'Cause
yeah.
if we're not on here, we can just, you can have your pen. Alright, where was the fence? Here. Raise your hands
I'll
again.
be there. Yeah.
I might be out of town, but if I'm not, I'll be there.
Okay.
Marcus is
You will be out of town,
I will.
because you're leaving the 20th.
You're on there? Oh, you're on there. Okay. Oh, Jim was on there already too. Okay. Was there anyone else? You can make it?
Did you get Marcus?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Be
Marcus
there,
is
but
on there.
I'm useless.
I know.
We could
No,
probably find something.
that's not true, because we need somebody to document it. Later on, there's a spot where somebody's gotta be taking the photos.
True. There we go.
So definitely, we can put anybody to use.
And I'll put my name
You
on
can
there. So.
Yes,
do coffee
John.
runs also.
Florida should recognize John.
Pen's not working.
I'm confused. What day are we putting the fence up on?
Friday,
The 21st.
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 Yes,
9 o'clock in the morning.
You didn't just say Monday?
No, I'm calling.
Tell it to Jake, he says that's still prime dog walking
Are
time.
you not sure?
I put me down, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, it's not gonna happen
So we have a few
now.
more people.
Okay.
We'll take your help when you
Okay.
show up.
okay, alright, moving along.
And the duration of that fence is going to be for how long? The installation, what process? How long?
Probably, we gotta put up 34 sections.
It's not that
I
hard.
should say a couple, 2-3 hours.
Okay.
If everybody,
And
I
we're there
mean,
at 9 a.m., is that what we're doing?
yeah, 9 a.m. I think I got it scheduled 9 to 2, just to make sure, because we gotta go around some stuff, so.
When I think about it, well, actually, what I'm thinking with going around stuff, we might overlap sections. But I'm also thinking that another not so heavy lifting would be somebody running around with the zip ties and the
That's a good idea.
binding wire. So I can think of at least 4 people who don't have to lift the
We're gonna
head.
do zip ties?
For where the police will need to get in on the far side.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we just
We
tie
have
them together?
clamps. We have
They
clamps.
have clamps that come with
How-
that.
Okay.
They assemble with clamps.
Sometimes they use clamps, and the
Yeah,
ones
they don't
out in
have
front of the
any-
library, they're
bailing
just
wire.
using baling
Debbie
wire.
has a question.
Yeah.
Using sandbags.
Nope. Good feet.
The construction down the street from my house blows over the
We-
construction
we
fence
may have to
like
look at that.
once a week.
Well,
I mean,
It's
almost-
very sheltered
almost
here, that's
more
what I
than
like
that.
about this site, is that we're so sheltered.
And they have sandbags on every single junction,
I've
like
got,
3.
I've been on a lot of
Still fall
construction sites with them,
All the
I'm
time.
familiar.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do more
Hang
when you do
something.
that, because when you put a sandbag on the bottom plate, if it's one of the bottom plate designs, all you're doing is hold the plate down. That doesn't
Oh,
hold
that-
the section down.
doesn't
That
hold the
stops the
section down,
section
that's
from
right.
leaning.
Maybe.
It is industry standard, if we need it, we'll do it, we're very
Yeah,
sheltered.
we'll figure
Probably
that
not
out
much.
as it goes.
That's a good point. We do have strong winds in this area, so somebody can be researching.
Or
how to
cinder
manage
blocks.
You know, like I said, I've been researching it my entire life, so
that.
I'm ready.
Good on. Okay, we're gonna leave that up to
Next.
Marcus.
Fine, but
Okay.
if we need sandbags or we don't, I'll make the call. Here
Like-
we go.
like Jim said,
You can
we're
blame it on
overthinking
me if they
things.
weren't there.
Okay, keep it simple again.
Any other
Yep.
planning needed for the fence installation on Friday next week? Is there any more planning that needs to be discussed about that?
Not really.
Okay.
Pretty
that's
simple.
Pretty simple.
Put fence in foot, put other fence in foot, put foot down.
So once we have the fence installed, what's our next plan? Is there one on the agenda? Do you have something?
Yeah,
The
after the fence is in, while we're putting the fence up, they're gonna deliver the container.
Okay.
Once they dump the fence, they're going back and pick up the container. Then, the next day on Saturday, we'll have the truck rented and we'll be going to Paul Berry's to pick up 125 pallets.
Okay, do we have anybody on our list so far to do the pickup, or is that something?
We need a driver. I can drive the truck. Anybody can drive the truck that's on the rental.
And we need people to unload?
Yeah, we don't need people to go to Paris pallets. They're loading with a forklift. And then we just have to strap it down. And then when we get back to site, then we need people to unload it. Or unless I just go up the hill and go backwards really fast and slam on the brakes.
That was the plan.
Are we in a position to borrow a forklift from anybody?
Not to get it on site.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's really not. If somebody had a piggyback truck that we could use, that'd be great. You know, somebody with a sod farmer's got that, or a lumber delivery truck. They have the nice little piggyback.
Yeah, well.
I know some people at
Other than that, it's not worth it.
Carpet Exchange.
We're just gonna unload it by hand, get it
Yeah.
done, make it easy.
Squeaking in the
Oh,
night.
okay. Fall off the truck.
What day?
They'll just fall off the truck.
Let's all keep to one person speaking at a time, just so, because we are recording this, that way everyone who's listening can kind of stay
So,
alert to what we're saying.
That's the next thing. We need about 7 or 8 strong people to help unload pallets, and we're just gonna stack them in an area that's not gonna be used for a while. We're gonna stack them over by the transformer, because that area won't be used until we move the shower truck on site.
Quickly, 2 points on this phase. One was we were discussing, should we have them clean the lot for us before we get there? If we can, you wanna mention that before we get the fences there.
Well,
Second thing is, we were talking about putting the cube in there, the drop, right? The gray water drop. I think the best way, from what I'm familiar with working with apartments and stuff, the best way is to just to work with SSE. If we get permission from the city to do this, if you do, then we need to talk to SSE directly and just meet with their driver when he's gonna be there.
SSC is not our provider.
Their provider, who's taking their dumpsters. He's gonna come down there and make the decision where we want that, so he won't
Okay,
wreck it for
yeah.
us, right?
I will
Wreck it
talk to
Ralph is
Bruce
coming.
Johnson, he's the head of Public
Okay,
Works.
it will be, I guarantee it will come down to a meeting with the SSC driver
Yeah.
on site with somebody, so it could be you.
Danielle.
There you go.
Okay.
What day is the pallets? What day are they?
Saturday.
Saturday.
That's Saturday. Okay.
Have we posted an event yet for Saturday for the
Nope,
pallets?
I will make that tonight.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
How far ahead do we want to go with our planning? 1 week?
I just want to get through Christmas and the 26th. I want to plan the 26th because that's the next day after Christmas. I don't want anybody to worry about the holidays. They can have the holidays off. I'll be doing something. I'll probably be down on the site doing something just because I can.
Do you want to have another meeting after the 26th or in January?
I need a calendar.
Why don't we plan through the 2nd, assuming everything goes right?
So if we're still in planning mode.
The 26th will be when we start building the platforms. That's the date that we're going to start building the platforms.
So do we find out if it's appealed on the 2nd, like the end of the day on the 2nd? Is that the,
We will know at 3 o'clock on the 2nd,
okay.
unless they extend it 2 extra days for New Year's.
Or Christmas
We
or
don't know that
whatever.
ahead of time?
Well, they already extended it,
Oh, is that accounts the Christmas
Yeah,
extension?
yeah.
Okay,
but there was a debate whether they were going to extend it for New Year's.
that means they probably will.
Yeah, thanks for.
So that's one extra day, right? New Year's?
New Year's Eve
It would only be one. It would only
It
be
would
one
only
day
be
out.
one day out, yeah.
They just can't be there.
They've gotta
I know.
eventually get some work done,
And
right?
New Year's Day is the day they usually close the offices and things, so it'll be the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we covered all aspects of planning until the 2nd, or is there anything else you'd like to add to that for people to be prepared to help with?
No, I think the next thing, okay, Friday the 21st, fence. Saturday the 22nd, pallets. The 26th, we will start building the platforms. And I need a list from Charlie and Marcus what lumber we need, because I know there's a talk of putting some lumber in these pallets. So I need that list so we can get that delivered.
Before the 26th.
Yeah, and the plywood, I need to know for sure, we need 50 sheets, or do we need 60 sheets, or do we need 1,000 sheets? So, because
What would it
Western, we're getting it from Western, so Western, I will go down this next week and order it
Okay.
and pay for it, since we haven't had anybody step up and say, yeah, we'll give it to you for free. So we'll pay for it at Western, and then they'll deliver it on the 26th.
Okay. Did you get that? Daniel?
What are the standard plywood sizes?
4x8.
4x8.
Siding sometimes comes in a 4x9 that they make, so that it gets that extra foot overhang when they go from the second story down. It overhangs.
Yeah,
because the
but
drip
we
thing,
don't
right?
really need to do that.
But, and that's a plywood, but we shouldn't need to do that. In fact,
Okay.
you've got that footprint sketch
Yeah.
of the tent. confirm for me with your numbers that you feel like on flats, it's all gonna fit in an
Okay.
8 foot by 8 foot space, and then that will be an 8 by 8, and we won't have to do all these rips and all those things.
Okay. Maybe
You know.
Well, it
maybe
won't.
after this meeting, I can sit down with you two and we can just
Sure.
sketch
Yeah.
out for me,
Sketch out
make sure.
what, and additional
Then I'll do
lumber is just on the rip, is what we're talking about? the-
We
the
just
joint?
need to really make it 8 by 9.
8x9.
So that's pretty
What?
easy to do.
Make what 8x9?
The platform.
Oh, you were talking about maybe putting an extra board on it or something. right?
Well,
Yeah.
it occurs to me,
In
I think you're
between.
absolutely right. We don't want the boards to stick out past where the tent goes. So what part we rip off on the front, we can stick on the back.
My thought on that is it can fit on a square pad like this,
Yeah.
and where there's something that goes across there, come in 1 inch from where it really goes. You can scribe that onto the, and then
Yeah.
do a saw, 3 curves or something, make it wide.
No, just cut the damn thing
And then,
off.
well, no, then you can have a platform outside your tent.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And
That's
then,
a good
but
point.
then that curve stops all water, it just flows right there.
Yeah.
And that's equivalent to a ground cloth.
That's-
Right.
That's decent.
Wait, how do you get it to
John
be
has a
4x9 when you have 4x8 pieces?
You stick a little bit on the back end.
John has a question?
From where? So you need like a scrap piece that you're cutting pieces off and,
I'm still thinking of putting a spine between the two sets, and let's hear what John has to say.
okay.
If you wanna keep the tent floor dry, you put the ground cloth on the inside of the tent, extending the edges up along the sides, so that the condensation that you'll get runs under the ground cloth. And the tent floor will get wet, but the ground cloth is dry.
Perhaps as well, but you definitely, there is a need for a ground cloth underneath tents when you really, as well.
Do we have
The
that?
ground cloth is supposed to be just inside
can't
the
get it.
footprint so that it doesn't gather water and bring it into the tent,
But
but
it
it
will.
actually lets it shed and
It will.
doesn't leach up.
Now, I see what you're
Campers
saying.
will tell you that it
Yes,
will.
I'm saying both.
Okay, so I recommend that John, Charlie, Danielle, and Marcus get together and discuss this a little more thoroughly
Sure.
and get back to Jim.
Get back to what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay?
A subcommittee.
A subcommittee. I want a budget of $7 a tent. $8 a tent. No, $10 a tent.
Pork barrel spending.
Yep.
Here we go. What do you got, Jim?
Hey, so that's as far as I'm gonna go is the 26th.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Somebody's trying to get in.
Let's let her in.
Does anyone have any questions so far about what we're doing between now and the 26th?
Lorraine had a question.
No, I did not point to someone that.
Oh,
Yeah, a latecomer.
I'm sorry,
Hi,
I
Cynthia.
I
Sure, right
Google
there.
mapped it and still managed to miss it and drive around.
Oh, that's the hard one, all
Sorry
right.
about that.
Everybody drives around looking for this office.
So
Yeah.
this is probably a good time to summarize everything we've discussed, because it looks like we've pretty much come to the closing of this meeting, and so if Jim
Not
wants
this
to-
meeting.
No.
Well, as far as discussing the plans
Yeah.
for the next
Schedule.
couple weeks. So if Jim wants to summarize that really,
Here's the plan. I'll say it one more time. The 19th, okay.
Hold up, Jim. One moment, please. I'm gonna shoot you. Okay, here we go. You're gonna be on video, but it's for my own and maybe intra organizational shoot. Oh shoot. Here, let's make it fast. I'll send it to JC.
Okay, so. what?
So on the 19th, we have our public hearing. It's not a public hearing. It's not mandatory. It was highly recommended that we do this. But the 19th at Maritime Heritage Park, I'm asking all our supporters to please show up at 6 o'clock at the pavilion at Maritime Heritage Park. That's when we're inviting the public to come and hear more about Winter Haven, address their questions, address their concerns, and hear them say all the bad stuff that they want to say. And we hired a moderator for this for a reason that I chose to get an impartial person that never heard of Homes Now to do this. That way it's done totally without any bias. He does this for a living. That's what he does. So it'll go good. Then on the 18th or the 20th, we will have our permit in hand. The 21st, this coming Friday, we will be setting up tents starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then on the 22nd, starting at about 10 probably, we will be unloading pallets. Anywhere from 10 to 11, depends on when the truck gets back from Perry Pallets to unload. We'll be unloading pallets and stacking them. And then after that, everybody enjoy their holidays. Then the 26th, which is a Wednesday, I think, at 9 o'clock in the morning. We will be building platforms for the tents. So that's when we need people to show up. If you have a screw gun and know how to run it, please bring it. We will have bits there because we will not be using Phillips screws. We will be using stars because they don't eat up as many bits. And so and I'll be making an event for that. So that's pretty much sums up what we're doing with Winter Haven now.
So the 22nd was stacking the pallets,
Yep.
and which day was building the platforms?
And 26th,
26th. Okay.
day after Christmas.
I better get this now. My Facebook is down,
Boxing
so-
Day.
I just got it now, there you go.
We'll
I'll
have
put
it.
that on our little volunteer chat, how's that?
Awesome.
Hey.
That good?
Yep, that
Okay,
good.
good.
And Cynthia, if you'll go ahead and sign in for.
Oh,
yes,
yes, please.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And then it's your meeting now,
Make
Jason.
Well,
yourself
the
a
only
new
other
line.
questions I
Yeah.
had were concerning the intakes. Do you need any more assistance for taking intakes on the 20th?
Who do we have so far?
You and Doug. You and Marcus.
Doug's gonna be out of town.
You will be absent.
No.
You might be absent.
Here's what happened for me. I had my attorney contact me and say, we've got an appointment for you down in Seattle on the 20th.
Yes.
Now, I can maybe change that. They said, let them know if we can change it. If you'd like me to change it, I'd like to be here for the intake. That's why.
Well, if you wanna change it, but I don't want you to fuck up your own
I'm not gonna
line.
fuck it up. I just, you know, I just.
Well, when I sent him all those pictures of you building,
You know.
that might have.
There's a picture of you holding a caulking gun.
We're still. So anyway,
So Doug, you can't be there either.
I will try to rearrange it, guys, because I want to be there for that.
When did the
I met a lot of
intakes
these people.
happen? Because I think I'm leaving on the. I know. I think I'm leaving on the 20th.
Okay.
So is it earlier in the day or is it
It's scheduled from 10 to 1, 10 to 2.
10 to 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It'll probably
but
go on.
I have that Bellingham TV interview at 10 o'clock, so I will be gone for about an hour in the morning.
Okay.
So I'm looking for 4 people because we have the conference room. I'm gonna call and schedule 4 people an hour. I mean,
Okay.
4 people. The interviews are gonna be a half an hour long. So we'll have 4 interviewers. Then I can schedule 4 people. I can get 8 people an hour in. And that's my goal.
Because I think I leave later in the day on the
Right.
20th. So I might be able to do that. No problem.
So if Marcus can get it changed, when will you know whether you can change it?
I have to wait for a week there, so I'll talk to him tomorrow morning.
Okay, let me know. If Marcus can't, then I need 2 more people to do intakes, and what that's going to be, interviews, is we have a much more detailed form that has to be filled out. It will take about 15 minutes, and they are not going to fill the form out. You're going to ask the questions and fill the form out. And that also gives you an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better and see if in 5 minutes into the interview they go berserk or something, and then you can just kind of mark your name off. And then it will be it will be up to you guys, the interviewers, to either put a star by their name, and that means you really think this will be a good fit.
We'll have some stickers.
Or maybe an A through F rating of some kind,
Yeah.
something like that.
But the one thing we have to impress on whoever's doing the interview is you have to let them know, are you going to be able to get along in a community setting? There's one person that wants in, but I don't think she fits because I don't think she'll get along. And we need to get that. Plus, you need to really emphasize the no drugs, no alcohol. So,
Will you have a probation period where like 1 week or 2 weeks where people have an opportunity to see if it's working for them, and then if they're not, they have the chance to exit the program?
we probably will.
Okay.
I'll probably let them know that, and then once we get the list of names I'm going to send to the chief to run the wants and warrants, then I will, during the next week, because I got nothing else to do, I will probably be meeting with the people personally, just talking to them, getting to know them a little bit.
People change day to day too, so it'll be good
Yeah.
to revisit them. You bet.
And then,
Will this be as extensive as we're doing with Unity, where we will have a filing system for any medicines that they're taking?
yeah, the more intense film lists all medicines that they take, and that has to be documented. And then we do have to come up with a way to go get those lockers. They're out in London, and we need like 4 guys that can lift 500 pounds apiece
Okay.
because there are some really, really heavy ones, and we need a flatbed trailer, so we'll probably do that with the truck. I have to get a hold
Danielle
of
has a
them.
question.
Just back to the interviews.
Okay, great, please.
If you're still looking for like a woman to fill that role,
Well, I need a woman. It'd be nice to have 2 women and 2 men.
yeah. So I was wondering if we could just like maybe like recommend some people. Like I'm thinking like someone like Vicky might be a really good
Yes.
person because she's good at greeting
Yes.
people. She's formerly homeless. Like
Yeah,
Vicky
she
is
knows the
if
look
she's
too.
willing to do it, I feel like she might be a really good person.
If she's willing to do it.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
it.
But we could
Yeah.
ask them if anyone else has like someone they might
She's always so
recommend.
stressed in with everything she's doing. She's
I
like,
know.
I hate to volunteer, you know,
I know.
but I love what she does.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, if you guys
Okay.
think of someone else, then you know.
Yeah.
Well, my
I don't know
favorite
if I
stressed
know her.
homeless lady would be Rain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's make a list, maybe we'll start this passing around, if you can think of somebody who would be a good candidate
So
for helping us
you
with
said
this
you could
effort.
do a couple hours?
I could do a couple hours, I don't know, I mean, I think I'm always optimistic that people are gonna be better than I think, you know? I don't know if
That's
I'm the
fine.
best
None of us are
judge.
pro here.
I
Well,
think-
but some
have to go
people
with-
respond to the challenge, so I like that.
Well,
Thank you for your.
I'd be happy to try it.
Great,
Okay,
Debbie,
cool.
that's awesome. So we'll put your name down there, just to give it, so you wanna commit to 2 hours that day?
Yeah, I can be there by noon.
By noon, okay, so if you
Yeah.
put Debbie down from 12 to 2.
So if it's taking 15 minutes per person
30
and
minutes a person.
30 minutes a person, and you've got 4 hours, you are getting 8 people interviewed.
No. You got
Times
4
more.
interviews
More.
going on at the same time.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
you're interviewing them one-on-one.
8 hours, 8 people an hour.
It would be great to do it in
Okay.
in the
No,
environment
that
where you
will
like
work.
have 4 people talking, you know, then you get a consensus, that'd be great. But that's not, we don't have time nor, yeah.
Right.
we're not gonna do that.
But it
Where's
does make
the-
your recommendation hold a lot more water.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And also on the intakes, like when JC were there at the library for sure, and I hope other people did too, was like when we asked him what your strong suits are, we wrote some stuff in the corners, like I really like this, like it'd be good for intake, you know, or something like that, you know, I've already made those notes for me, so if somebody
Right.
else sees my shit, then that's a, you know, that's helpful.
It is.
Where is this happening?
At the library,
Library.
in the conference, the small conference room upstairs.
So the other thing is, on the interviews, is we should mention that there are gonna be, residential chores.
Yes.
Yes.
So you will be
Well,
volunteering.
everybody will have a copy of the handbook,
Right.
and when you interview the person, you'll be giving them a copy of the handbook to take with them. There is on the intake form, the bigger one, it has a place for them to sign. It says, yes, I read the handbook. So we want to make sure that we don't hear, well, I didn't know that. You know,
That's
ignorance
wise.
isn't
Yeah.
acceptable.
Jim, there's also that 1-page sheet I sent you that all the residents have to sign. That basically has like, you know, no drugs, no this, you know, all the
Yeah,
rules or whatever. If you want to show that to
All
them
the
during
key points
interview.
anyway,
So they
yeah,
know what
because they're not gonna
signing.
read the handbook while we're talking to them.
Yeah,
Right.
just at least like 10 bullet points or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure they maybe initial that and then bring back your form when you really.
Maybe it'll be they received a copy of the handbook.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
yes,
And then
with the key points covered, all one.
And
thing
then
to
once we get everybody that's going in, before they move in, we'll have a meeting with all of them at once.
see how they get along.
And we'll see how many fights break out. And
Just like
then,
us here, you never know.
and that meeting is when, it'll be about a 2.5 hour meeting. At that meeting is when we will ask people to nominate people to be the leads on security, kitchen, intakes. And we gotta stop calling it intakes at Winter Haven. There are no
confusing
intakes.
the hell
Right,
out
I'm
of the
sorry.
city.
Yeah, there are no intakes at Unity Village. If somebody comes to the gate, then you direct them to give them my card. They can call me, and we'll set them up with a application. But we cannot do anything on site that has to do with intaking. It is the reception area where everybody that comes into Winter Haven,
He's authorized.
you have to sign in, you have to sign out,
Let's call it
including the
welcome.
police, the fire marshal,
It's just
the health department. Unless it is an emergency, a 911 call, then they don't have to sign in, but they have to sign out.
okay.
I was here.
Right.
And what did you do while you were here?
And an incident report, obviously.
Okay, yeah, and an incident report, so. And we are gonna make these badges for all
Yes.
of the volunteers,
Nice.
so.
That'll be
The
really
what?
good.
I think we ought to think about something like this for the residents.
Come on, hold
Yeah,
on,
we'll make
smile,
one
Danielle.
for the volunteer staff and one for residents.
Good on you, honey.
In fact, I would buy a laminator.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Picture ID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a
everybody
good
else
idea.
wandering around official gets something to wear around their neck, so the residents should get one too.
I agree. Hey,
I'm gonna put a rag
we
on.
just made that more complicated, didn't we?
We did.
If we had the modern technology, they'd all have cards and they just scan in and out when they come and go. But
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
we're not there yet.
Okay, so, moving on.
Um,
Any more questions about intake?
yeah. Does anybody else have?
It's not
It's not
intake,
intake.
it's welcome.
No, intaking residents.
Readers.
Interviewing of our applicants.
Interviewing.
Yes, interviewing of our applicants. I know Lynette had her hand up a minute ago, and we kind of passed right over you. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Sure.
Okay.
Always has something to say. Yeah, did you want me to report on the churches?
Yes.
please.
Yes.
So we're working on it. And, I got some really good people working on it, but we have to get, we have more to do. I'm doing some today. And it looks like, Dana's done quite a bit. So Dana and my group are gonna get together. So I'm gonna use this new, program, Doodle, to us, that lots of people use to call that meeting. And then we'll, hash out everything there, because we have to coordinate it so we're not doubling up on what we're doing.
Yeah, it's important not to hit them from all sides.
What I'm doing is also calling, churches that are big, the big ones, that have, like Hillcrest, like, Faith, what's it called?
Faith
Downtown.
Lutheran.
And getting it, and interviews with the outreach person, or the minister, or both, and, letting them know about what we're doing and everything.
Do you need more trifolds for that?
What?
More trifolds and information packets or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got some, but,
Okay.
yeah, I'll probably need more.
Okay.
And so far, I've done my church, and my minister let me announce it, Dr. Andrea, and she's also going to support us she did at the interfaith meeting on the 6th.
Excellent.
And interfaith is another one I want to interview. And so it's come along, and what we do have to get together with Dana and see what he's doing. He's working, so that's a little bit of a
Scheduling issue.
scheduling problem. So I want you to try out Doodle. You'll see how it works.
How do you feel about the Genius program so far?
And yeah, they work.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they're great.
Excellent.
But I need people to go ahead and delegate these to. And Debbie volunteered to take on one part of the church's email.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
okay, so now, we were talking about that, and then he started talking to JC, so I thought that was handled. And when I heard that was handled, I took on the volunteer lead
Yeah.
job,
Oh,
so I
Yeah.
can't do both.
She's trying to
Oh, you
help
can do
coordinate
the
with
volunteer
volunteers.
coordinating?
She's trying.
Well,
We're talking about.
I love to, but I need a
Nice.
list of things.
Oh, you do.
What I have is this.
It's a big job and it's being formed.
Yeah, I need some more stuff. I need the electronic version
I
of
will
this.
bring, yes.
I don't have access on my computer.
I
I'm
will
gonna have
send
to
you
do it.
everything you need.
Yes.
Yes. And if you really do take
Can
on
we
that
get
role,
together? I mean,
that would be good.
didn't mean to abandon that thing, but it sounded like you and JC had that worked out as far as you getting all the email addresses of all the churches.
Yes, we did do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna do for you, is to just get all the
Oh,
church.
I did that back in
That's what I wanted
January,
to
so
do.
that was really easy to
Well,
send
that's-
over.
She's already
Look.
done it.
I still want to get with you and just do it. Just put the email.
Okay,
list
I can take on one thing here.
You and I can do that together. It's on the same mainframe. I have the same emails on the same mainframe, and we can just mass mail whatever it is that she wants us to do. And you're doing the coordination with the volunteers. Those two, I've got both of those things. We can do it together.
I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the technicalities, make sure they're all right, and then I'll do the sending out of.
Okay.
And if you need access on your computer, I can remote into it and install it.
We would love
Is
it
it
if,
compatible with Libre data? Base or whatever they
I don't
call
know
it?
if it is or not. No.
'Cause I have that.
No, I know. I like Open Office about myself, but
I just don't have a lot of experience working with a database program, and I do.
yeah, I
how to use
actually.
Excel.
Yeah, and I actually don't even like Microsoft Access. But if you want to run that, if you want to run
that's
that
what I
though,
use.
I can hook you
No,
up
I
with software.
don't, because I don't know how to use it. What I prefer,
No,
I
neither do I.
We can
prefer to
transfer
work
it
in
to Excel.
Excel,
We can
because
do
I
that.
know that
Yeah.
program.
Okay,
That's not
yeah.
It's not in that program yet.
Excel it is.
Okay.
Anyway, can we talk about that
Sure,
later?
and Doug, while we're at it, if Lynette doesn't have a webmail account and Debbie needs one possibly, is that?
We could, yeah,
can you set
easy.
that up?
Yeah.
I have one now.
Do you have
All
one
these
now?
different
You got a
programs.
Homes Now account now?
Are you okay with being part of
Well,
that?
you took it down, I thought you were gonna.
Webmail is, you'd have your, it would be Debbie at
homesnow.org.
homesnow.org, and it makes it
Oh,
simple
I
for
don't
you.
know, that's fine.
Is that okay with you?
You're on
Yeah,
separate channel.
I have a, all right.
If
Yeah,
that works
never
for
mind.
you. Then
That
I
way
can
you
import
didn't
all of
give
our
that to
emails to your box and you'll be set.
Yeah, because the admin at Homes Now account sends emails to all of us,
Right.
like that are actually that have Homes Now email accounts. So you'll actually be, you don't have to respond to every email, but you'll get like communications that we're getting on our other stuff, so you'll at least know what's going on as notifications.
But it'll come in a webmail
Yeah, yeah,
account, okay.
yeah. It'll just be like a normal email account. You'd go to email.homesnow.org and then
I'm
sign
not
in.
putting it on my phone, I'll tell you that.
No, you
No,
can,
no,
but
I would.
I'm
but
gonna
you
keep
don't-
it, I'll keep
I don't
it
have
on.
it on my phone because I actually don't like phones. I don't.
Yeah, mine's on my computer.
Every time it goes off, I cringe. So
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. But I do have it on my computer as an email.
And Lynette, were you
client.
able to access yours okay, since you set yours up?
Yeah, well, I used to be able to do all that stuff and man, I'm too slow.
Oh.
I need somebody with me to, actually make sure
An
every
assistant.
little detail is right and to do it faster.
We'll look at our volunteer list and see who wanted to work with churches and see if you can get an assistant helping you with that. That would be good. So I'll look
That's
into
a
it.
good first
Say
solution.
that again.
I will look at our volunteer list to see who would like to work with you, networking with the churches, and see if you can get an assistant.
Well, Cynthia will.
Cynthia will do it for
Cynthia's
you?
already-
Okay, good.
And I think she's gonna add in that.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Cynthia,
She's.
I mean, that, I had a clue that she
Okay.
might do that.
Okay, we'll get confirmation on that from Cynthia, that'd be great. Any more updates from leads, lead projects, project
Take
leads?
fingerprint.
Who else is a project lead?
Anybody else have anything to contribute?
Doug is a security project lead.
Yeah. So that is. I tested out the security system. It works great. It's just wireless cameras. So each camera needs a power source, and then and that's it. And then I was talking with. We were trying to talk about internet for the site. What would work best for that? So I called Pogo Zone because they have fiber in that area. The reason why I didn't want to call Comcast is because they do suck, but that is a business address. And if you get Comcast Business, they make you sign a mandatory 3-year contract. So you have to pay for 3 years, even if you don't need it after 3 months. So it's horrible. So Pogo Zone is a local ISP. They have fiber. So they said it was no problem for the little satellite dish that has like 20 meg internet, but that's kind of medium slow. So I'm gonna see if we can get the fiber hooked up. And so I'm talking to them about that. As for the security part, it's just going to be a standard setup where there will be a public link on our website where anyone can view the security feed, as well as an app on the phone if someone wants to have it on their phone, as well as at the desk that is for security it's that little trailer that we're gonna use for like reception. I figure security and reception would just be in the same trailer,
Yeah,
2 different
yeah.
desks, monitor, chilling on the security side, and
Is the
Well,
that
they're gonna
supposed to be
both be
available
sitting at the
publicly,
dynamic.
or-
yeah, it's
Yes.
on it. Yeah,
Yes, we will.
And you want it to be that way?
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
yes. No, we got nothing to hide.
Okay.
But what's the resolution on that? You're not
It's
getting.
1080p.
That means nothing to me. Are you gonna be able to
Uh,
recognize
it- it-
faces?
it-
Oh, there's
it's-
still tiny bodies, I'm sure, right? You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not perfect, but 1080p is most security cameras over the last like 10, 15 years that you see, like in a security office, are like 320p. So lower. These are like the same resolution as your TV.
Okay.
1080p is the standard HD TV resolution. It's not
I guess,
4K.
are you getting at like, is there like a privacy concern as far as like someone being identified as homeless?
It doesn't
And, like,
matter,
see their face
when they read the handbook, they know that they're
Once
gonna be
we-
on
Checked in.
camera.
They know that
And
it's
it's like on camera and like you can see the person's face and recognize them.
They will
And
know.
that's
They will be
the-
aware.
They've already had a warrant check, so you know we know who they are.
Well,
it's not
no,
like it's not like they're
police know
anonymous to us. They belong.
Not
there,
to
you
us,
know.
but to the general public.
Yeah, and they have to know
I
that
read that.
they have to be okay with it if
Yeah,
they.
when we're doing the
Um,
application process to vet everyone, we will let them know that they will be videotaped and that
Yeah.
they will be on
On security footage.
security footage, so they will
Um,
be aware of
and
that.
Can we get a network to sponsor us then?
That would be nice.
What?
Get a network to sponsor.
We can have it like one of these Survivor
Big
shows.
Brother,
Yeah.
Network to sponsor us. Okay.
I would suggest strongly against.
Hold up. Doug, how do you look into the mobile?
Sorry, there's like 3 people
I
talking to me.
know.
This-
One other
Let's
thing
just
I'd
bring
like
it
to
back.
add
Yeah.
Let's break
about
down
the
that.
security cameras is the city is also,
Yeah.
besides ours, the
They're
city
good.
is putting their own cameras in, and they are giving us access to their cameras, so we know that.
Right. So both are happening. Either way.
Marcus has a question?
I would love to ask you a question, Doug.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you looked into mobile hotspots? I know you've got some
Yeah,
cell
yeah,
networking.
that's what I looked into first. And the problem is that they have hard data caps of 10 gigabytes in a whole month, right? So if you get a hotspot plan from like any provider, like any of them, they bring you down to 2G data after 10 gigs. And it's like $100 a month. So it's really like a really bad deal. So that's why I'm trying to get real internet out there, because that was originally what I did. I did set up the hotspot. It does work. I installed an unofficial ROM on my phone in order to get around the tethering provision, because they don't let you use the data for computers at all or anything not related to a cell phone. So you can install an unofficial ROM on your phone that tricks it into thinking it's all mobile data when it's not, and then you can get 50 to 100 gigs that way. And so that's, but the problem is that it's not like reliably fast. It's like goes up and down and up
Slow,
and down,
yeah.
and it's just kind of shitty. Even though we can totally fall back on that, and that's what I did. So at least we get 100 gigs out of it rather than just 10 for free.
Well, since I walked in at the beginning of, or in the middle of this conversation, what's the primary purpose of the internet?
So that everyone there has internet, so that they can watch Netflix.
Everybody can get on.
So that
So
they can
they
go.
can watch videos,
Access.
So that they-
apply for
Look for
jobs.
jobs.
Well, what do you use the internet? Why do you have internet?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, it's
So
just-
because if it's so
It's
that you
just
can watch,
internet access.
just general internet
Yes.
access.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
and
reason that I did ask-
but also, sorry, that last thing I was going to say to you is that the internet is also for the purposes of having a live security feed that's publicly available out there.
Because that's what we're discussing.
So it's used for both.
Doug, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you first initially started talking about this, you said that they would be all running through electric. How many cameras do you have, and what will support that?
Oh, there's 4 cameras. They're wireless. They just need a plug. They just need a plug.
Well, I mean, based on where the power is on the site, is that going to
It's not going to be a problem because
Okay.
worst case scenario, you run a long extension cord
No.
and then you just run more extension cords.
If I made only one more point on this, on the hotspot thing, because I am living in an RV just across the railroad tracks, I couldn't get a wire to me or anything.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do the dish thing. Found out that Verizon Wireless for $50 and a 2-year plan was going to give me a mobile hotspot, which works great with my computer, and they don't have any
Right. There's
limitations.
there
It's on my
there is a
unlimited.
data cap though. They tell you unlimited, but it's not.
Okay.
What they do is they say unlimited, but
then drop it down.
but it's 10 gigs of fast, and then on the 11th gig down to speeds like 56K speeds.
kinda get you there.
And so it's a way for them to say it's unlimited when it's absolutely not.
Right.
So does that
So
also-
as far as like going down to that lower thing, practically for people who like the numbers and stuff, what does that mean? That means that like you can send an email, but your Netflix doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
what?
yeah. So the megabits per second, right? So let me explain this really quick. So as quick as I can. So in your house, let's say you have 2 computers in your house, and you want to talk from one computer to another. That is gigabit. That's 1,000 megabit, and so that's the speed it goes at. Now, internet from any provider might be as low as 1 megabit per second, or as high as 1,000, maybe even more sometimes. But 1,000 is generally the highest it goes. Now, the dish, it's pogo zone, so it's from a tower. It's like a cell phone tower, but it's a different technology, and that is around 20 megabit maximum. So they said no problem, we can do that for sure. It's 20 meg maximum that we can do, but there's no data cap, so you can use as much data as you want, but it just goes at that 20 speed. But they said, but hey, it looks like we have fiber in that area too. I don't know if we can do that, but it looks like we can. I'll get back to you. And the fiber can go all the way up to 1,000. But so what I'm saying is, if you have 20 residents or 30 residents and they're all on Netflix at the same time, that 20 megabits isn't gonna work. But if one or two people were on it at the same time, it would work. You know, so it's kind of like I'm trying to get it to where the performance is like where no one notices, it just runs fast. And that-
Oh, okay, so on the thing where you get like a little bit fast and then it slows down. So the practical consequence of that would be is if you have everybody on their computers at the same time.
Nobody gets Netflix.
Then it would all be slow and
then everything's like,
But you
it's
still
like
get a job.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then even if that wasn't a problem, you have the secondary problem of the data cap.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get around any kind of caps and get around any kind of slowness issues. So
How much is the go? What is it?
it's a Pogo Zone. If we had to pay full price for it for the 20 meg dish thing, it's like $50 a month or something. But then if we got the fiber, it'd be somewhere around $100 a month for 100 megabit.
Okay.
So 100 megabit is pretty fast, and so.
So that's a deal that the deal that they're giving
No,
to the
that
cause.
well, no, that's the normal price.
That's the normal
And you want the
price.
fiber.
And they might be able to do it cheaper
Charlie,
than that.
Charlie has a
Oh,
question.
okay.
It's really funny that all you snowflakes are worried about Netflix. Can we put a really serious porn filter on it?
No.
Ported what?
Porn filter.
Oh,
really-
port. I think you said port. It was like a what?
No, let's. I mean, you know, Netflix is.
The problem with the filters is that you get a lot of false positives. So, for example, if you put like a parental filter on your router or something, which we could do that. The problem is that you're going to get a lot of sites that aren't porn, and then they get blocked for some reason.
I'd like
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I'd like to say at this point, in this juncture, that however you would use your phone, the people that will be on the site will be using their phone.
But there will be logs.
There'll be
and-
logs, and there'll certainly be purposeful use of the internet. However,
But I'm not going to be their parent. I'm
no,
not
we're
going to
not
be
gonna we're not gonna censor people's
No.
access to the internet. So let's just keep it that way.
No,
Dana-
that's not our job.
No, it isn't.
Well,
Dana,
but we
now
don't
that
need to
you're-
go
I
out.
don't know that we need.
Okay.
I don't need
We're
more
not
than
no, we're not
we need.
accommodating.
Okay.
We're not accommodating. We're just not. We're not getting fixated on it
Right.
because with that statement, like how you described it, is like you're assuming that everyone there is just going to be like a porn
So
feed.
we're gonna go back to
You
Kiss
only need
right
5 people
now.
to drown out your
We'll go back to
bandwidth.
Kiss in this.
Yeah, but anyway,
Okay.
So,
I'm okay for a while.
Lynette has a question.
yeah.
I have a comment. In my opinion, I vote for fiber because I think it's
Me
easier
too.
on your brain.
Excellent.
Yeah. yeah.
It's better for your digestion.
Okay.
You came in late, and I know you're a project lead. Do you have anything you'd like? Thank you for that, Doug.
Well, we're not done with Doug yet.
What are-
Oh,
what's-
Those are more.
You statistics.
Yeah. So one thing we're gonna need to keep track of, and I think you're gonna be helping me out with this a lot, is we have to keep track of when people came in, like what was their situation, how did they become homeless? You know, like the thing we learned in the interview, and we keep track of that. And then by the time they're done, when they leave, let's say they leave prematurely or they leave at the end, what happened to them? Who did we help? What did we do? What did we even do? Sure, there was people there for 90 days, but what happened at the end of the 90 days?
What
Did it
worked
help
for you?
them?
What
Did
didn't
some of
work
them
for you?
find housing? Did most of them not find housing? You know.
Danielle?
So, is there anything that's not on our intake forms that is information you need?
Yeah, I will look at that and,
Okay.
and get back to
And
you.
the other thing is, we should probably have I don't know what you call it, an outtake form.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that all
Yeah.
this information is standardized and then we can just put it in the
Yeah,
database.
And what they usually call an exit interview.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Or
You can tell it after you fill out when you close your account.
Oh, I'd really like to know that information so that I
Me
can
too.
include it in the things that I'm writing at the end.
Right, of course, and that information will be available to you. It won't have the person's name on it unless they want that, but it'll have the statistical. We'll have the names to prove it if somehow there's a question that we fudge the numbers or something. But when we can give the data out to you or anybody about what
It'll be
happened.
on the website,
It'll
so
be on the
anybody can have
website,
it.
so it'll be publicly available.
And we met 2 people yesterday at orientation that are record-keeping retirees, so they
Yeah,
may help
nice.
us with that. So that's great.
And if you need any help with that too, I can.
Okay,
I can-
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And one other thing I'd like to mention right now, why I'm thinking about it, because I'll forget if I don't. At no time, and I'm going to say this again, at no time will anybody with Winter Haven or Homes Now ask for anybody's social security number. The first time I hear you ask for a social security number, you will no longer be a volunteer at Homes Now.
Amen to that.
Everybody get that?
Because
Can I ask why? I just.
why?
Yeah.
I don't know why we would.
Nobody.
Because if I have your social security number, your date of birth, and your name, I can steal your identity that quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe we
Without
Never
your
get
social
that number.
without your social security number, I can't steal your information so much. Plus, another reason it's kind of personal for me, because so many nonprofits, when I was homeless, they wanted my name, my date of birth, and my social security number. So when they wrote grants to HUD with my social security number, they could get money. Without my social security number, they couldn't get any money.
Oh.
So it's kind of a personal thing with
Yeah.
me. I'm tired of nonprofits just using people's numbers to get more money,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be that
I know
nonprofit.
that there might be on one of our forms. It might be on there. I'm gonna double check and we can
Okay.
take it off.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
So maybe to address that, we can create some form for our volunteers to have some notification when they come to volunteer on site, sort of like HIPAA, where we're creating a privacy law for the site, and then they go ahead and they acknowledge that as part of their
Laminated to
handbook,
the desk right in front of you.
have a notification, and
Yeah.
we'll-
I mean, the only time that should be like even if it was gonna happen, the only time it would be happening is during while they're filling out those intake forms.
I'm worried
so it
about
should be
the
probably one of
background checks.
Here.
What information are they gonna want from us to give them a full background
All
check?
we need is
Just
their
the
full
name
name with a
ID.
middle initial and their date of birth. That
Okay,
is it.
Good.
And they want a copy of their picture
So,
ID.
That's all I care.
And if they don't have a picture ID, I've got it worked out with Chief Dahl that he'll still run and wants some warrants on them as long as I can promise him that we are working to get them their birth certificate or whatever they need.
And we can get them, I mean, we can help them get IDs.
Right, that would be one thing we do.
Are we going to be able to make copies of the IDs at these interviews on the 20th?
Yes.
Yeah, because isn't there a copy machine?
No, I got my phone. I
Oh,
can
yeah, you
take
can
a
just take
picture.
a picture of them, yeah.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
modern technology. Okay, anybody else have anything else to say about what Doug has contributed?
I'm impressed with Doug's obvious knowledge of the technology.
Excellent. All right,
Thanks.
so I'm gonna go ahead and pass this over to Dana, who just walked in. And Dana, do you have any updates for us about the food and food handling?
Yes, since some of you were not at yesterday's meeting, and apologies, but I was at work at 5 this morning and just got off, so. The two biggies having to do with, and this is not church provided related stuff, which Lynette and I are working, it's a separate issue. However, I had a meeting roughly 3.5 weeks ago with the food bank, and they are more than on board with providing food to individuals, and we're just going to use the city hall address as their home address,
Okay.
and we're basically going to put them into what are called virtual households of up to 5 individuals. So they'll, for purposes of going to the food bank, any one of the 5, only one, if they want, or
Sure.
more, can truck in and grab enough for 5 people,
Sure.
and then
I
come
like it.
back out.
Excellent.
Nice.
Okay, and then that way they don't have to each individually go to the food bank.
Right,
So
yeah.
one big
Grab stuff.
truckload can take care of everything, huh?
Excellent.
Yes, they're also allowed to go twice a week like anybody else would if they're going to the food bank. And
Excellent.
we have a potential, although she's got to get back with me, the director of operations there, we may end up getting first dibs on any day-old stuff coming out of the bakery.
Oh, that'd be very cool.
Nice.
So when they donate their stuff to the food bank, we'll get first grabs at that, okay? The bagelry. Okay, so because they donate like a lot of the grocery stores and stuff to the food bank. The other biggie is that a couple weeks ago, I had a meeting with a gentleman, and I'll leave him anonymous for the moment because we're kind of working behind the scenes on this. Whether you realize it or not, there is, it's only about a year old, but there is what's called a food recovery program that was started by Sustainable Connections in this county. And what they do is they work with grocery stores, if they're willing to do so, restaurants, anybody else that produces food, And instead of throwing out the excess production at night, like if they make one or too many pans of mashed potatoes or whatever the case may be, as long as it's met all the time and temperature requirements by the health department, well, the program goes and grabs that hot food and then they transport it to places that need to have it to feed people, whether it's retirement centers, homeless individuals, and they have some places that they're doing it for homeless people. So my contact and I are going to hopefully get this rolling for us by the middle of January, and we will actually end up getting excess food from places. Now,
Excellent.
that's the good thing, not only from the fact that we can feed people hot meals that way also, but the second part of it is that it's a environmentally friendly thing. The so-so news about that is you don't know what you're going to get every day. Okay, so you could end up with 7 hot dogs and 9 chicken legs and whatever it is. Okay, whatever you get, whatever is excess is what you get. Okay, but it's all going to be healthy food, so we can bring it in from that standpoint. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any dietary concerns that we want to be aware of when we're doing our intakes, or not intakes?
It's on the intake. It's on the intake.
Interviews. I correct myself.
It's on the interview form.
It is on
It's
there.
on the
Okay,
interview
Yeah,
form.
the
If you have it.
the biggest one, for those of you that are not familiar with the dietary requirements of people, is some people do have, in fact, problems with lactose intolerance and gluten issues. Okay, that's not necessarily going to cause them to die. It may make them very uncomfortable if they ingest that kind of stuff. The big one is if anybody's got nut allergies.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we actually have somebody that has identified themselves as nut allergic,
I'm not.
or a nut period, yes, then we need to make sure that they have medical assistance to have an atropine pin with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Jim?
Yes, Jim.
I talked to Unity Care nurses. We will have 6 EpiPens on site at all
Good.
times.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
Another question I have for you regarding the food bank.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Can you get them to donate us 100 pounds of potatoes to start with?
I'll talk to them. Yeah.
Because they did that for us when we did our
Yeah, I don't
sit
see why they wouldn't this time of year anyway. Yes,
Just,
ma'am.
is there anything that we need to do to prepare, like if all this hot food is gonna be brought to site, is there anything we need to do to keep it warm? Do we need to have like
Kitchen.
It should basically be, it's gonna come in, so when it comes in is when it needs to be served.
Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
and
We're not
So,
storing it
yeah,
hot.
so and Jim and I have had a general discussion about serving times at night, because we don't envision that we're gonna do hot meals for breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
That's pretty much gonna be up to the residents to do whatever the hell they wanna do. And they can do cold sandwiches, they can do whatever they wanna do at that point, make scrambled eggs, so on and so forth. But at night, it's probably gonna be roughly between about 6 and 7:30, maybe 5:30 to 7:30, somewhere in that window.
Okay.
And we will always try and have an idea of approximately when it is and put it up on the community bulletin board so everybody knows dinner times at this time on this day.
Excellent.
Okay,
That's what I need to
so,
know.
So I've just gotten a few from the churches that would come in, and one is CSL.
okay.
And I don't know if they're gonna be once a month, and then,
It's wherever we can fit them in, okay?
right, and, I was, let's see, there's a homeless guy who's volunteering, his name's Jar, and he was telling me that Costco, has a lot of extra food, and they could give it to the home, to the, food bank in our name.
Okay, then I'll start with the food bank and ask them about
Costco.
in what way Costco's been donating to them, okay, instead of going to Costco directly. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Maybe talk to Jar too, he's in our list of
He's
people.
in our
I'll talk to Jar, he's a good guy.
Right, so what I'm trying to do is get us access to the food this way, but also leave it up to the residents so that they've got their own dietary preferences, just like we all do, and we don't wanna be forcing food items on them that they're not gonna eat because they don't like the color, the taste, the texture, whatever the hell it is, okay? But we can only do so much, we're not a restaurant, okay? So we'll do the best we possibly can, give them access to food, they can make it their own when they bring stuff back from the food bank, or that we're gonna get the hot stuff that's coming out of the restaurants and the other places.
Do we have, well, I guess we don't know yet because we don't know who our applicants will be or our residents will be, but how many or approximately what, if there's anything that we're doing with EBT and DSHS and
They,
food co-op,
okay,
or anything
I
like
can
that.
answer that.
Okay.
If they have food stamps, I can go buy their own food. The rules on the refrigerators and the freezers will be, if a name is not on it, it's free game. In other words, if we get stuff
It's
from you,
community, yeah,
Okay.
it becomes community,
yeah,
yeah,
it's free game.
it's free game, it becomes part of the community.
And if you go to the store with your food stamp card and you buy steaks, put your name on them, because if you don't, and I go to the refrigerator and there's steaks, guess what? Jim's eating steaks. No.
Maybe also just have them, instead of writing their whole name out, they can just write their tent number.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good
we
idea.
can probably
Or,
do that.
however you want it, but it
Or
needs
color
to be,
stickers
it
or-
needs,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it needs to be identified.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Colored stickers might work
It
well.
would,
Just
it
give
would be the
everybody a
same
stack of
principle as
stickers.
if you're going to
Yeah.
work and you bring your bag
Yeah.
lunch with
Office
you and you
lunch,
write
yeah.
your name on it so that somebody doesn't go in there and grab this unmarked bag lunch.
So we're definitely down to the level of detail where I'm quite happy to let the residents make the decision.
Yeah, we're just about there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And if, the only other big thing which Lynette and I will work on is for outside organizations that are not restaurants or not going through the food recovery program or not the food bank, any meals, because of the numbers that we're gonna have in the community, has to be prepped and cooked in a certified kitchen.
Right.
Now, let me
So
caveat-
says the health department.
so says the health department. Let me caveat this for a minute, okay? If we get a church that doesn't have a certified kitchen, and we do know that there are some out there like Faith Lutheran that does the Maple Alley thing twice a week for the homeless, if we can team up that non-certified church with Faith Lutheran and they're gonna allow them to use their kitchen, great. Okay, they can go in and do it, or they can go off to First Baptist because we know they do a thing every Tuesday. Sometimes they cook there, sometimes they bring it in from other places. There was a question yesterday during the volunteer orientation. One woman raised her hand and says, well, what happens if I decide I want to bake banana bread and cookies and all this other stuff? And I looked at her and I said,
Then bring it.
just bring it. Until we're told otherwise, okay, we're just going to do our thing.
It's just a gift between one human being and
I
another.
think the difference should probably be that you're not calling it feeding the community. As soon as you say it's a feed for everybody, then you're kind of crossing that
That's
line.
right.
If you make an
That's
event out of it, you're crossing the
That's
line.
right. However, we also need to be prepared, because we're under so much damn scrutiny with this thing, that the Department of Health could walk in at moment's notice, no notice, and want to do a quote-unquote inspection of how we're feeding people.
And I would suggest, if
Okay,
it hasn't
so-
been mentioned yet, that we have close contact with those volunteers who are providing food, so that we are screening them as well. We want to make sure that the people that are bringing food have met our vetted through us, so we know who they are, the ones that are preparing food. So
Well, of
that's-
course,
that
yeah,
nature.
and, you know, if somebody wants to bring food,
important.
you know, somebody can refer an individual that wants to bake, you know, 3 dozen cookies and bring them in, well, when they volunteer to do that.
They should
then
be on our volunteer list.
Be on the volunteer list, send their phone number my way, I'll have a quick chat with them, see what they're gonna do, you know, and so on and so forth, and I think it'll be fine.
Jim's nodding his head.
Because it's not simple.
Back and Jim say, wait.
This is coming from a mother who has a 21-year-old who survived all her Halloweens and you know, Halloween.
You're one of
candies.
those paranoid mothers
I
that
will
looked your
say
candy
that
over.
from the
I
80s
never
on-
did. I ate it.
From the 80s on, we've dealt with, you know.
Yeah.
Mom gets all the candy.
Well, I don't want to compromise anybody. I don't want to compromise any group either. Every group deserves all the
I
same
just-
dignity.
I just
and
wanna
same
say
respect
this
that we give
again.
anybody, so.
We have.
And you're gonna get tired of hearing me say this.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Don't complicate it.
Not to
I understand, but we didn't vent anybody last year at the sleep out. Not one person got vented, and we had people that would just show up with food. Nobody died. Nobody got sick. It went great. It's gonna go even better this time. So let's not think of all the worst. I have enough people doing that. Every city official is trying to come up with what's gonna go wrong. I'm begging people, please don't think negative about about the community.
I
They have
don't.
not done nothing to hurt us,
But if
not
we
one
have a
thing.
stranger who comes off the street and wants to give
Yeah,
food
but
to
what
our
if-
people, we wanna make sure that it's
That's
not.
the community I'm worried about too, actually.
There's a lot of conflict
It'll be-
about
it'll be
homelessness,
fine.
so I agree, I think
anyone
that's
who brings
important.
donations, even if it's not food,
Yeah, but
is
it
gonna
needs
be
to
on the
sign
donation
in,
list,
needs to
so.
I promise I'll be the test pig. I'll eat a bite out of every cookie.
Very generous of you.
Anybody
Okay,
else
with
got
that-
a- Is anybody else
What if we
got a
have
question?
20 people go in there and they come out like this? You know, because they gain so much weight.
Yep. We had that problem at the sleep out. We had people that couldn't fit in their clothes anymore because there was so much food.
You don't have to carry all your stuff around so you get out of shape.
Yeah, look at me. I weighed 175 pounds, 75 pounds the whole time I was homeless. And within a year of not being homeless and not having to carry all my stuff, I gained 150 pounds in a year. Because I could go, it was so neat. I could go to the refrigerator anytime I wanted. And when you don't eat very much when you're homeless, when you get that opportunity, we saw it at the sleep out. It was kind of awesome. People would come in with their head hung low. And then Papa John's would show up. So they'd stack pizza about this high the first couple of days. And I'd walk out and I'd go, you know, everybody's got to eat. Yeah, I know, but I'm like, there'll be more food. And then within 2 days, those same people were taking 2 pieces and telling the other homeless, hey, wait, everybody's got to eat. Because they're so not used to having food that when they get food, they hoard it. And we used to catch people taking it back to their tents and then come back, get more and take it back to tents. And then we'd have to go to their tent and go, listen, you know, you got like 7 pizzas in your tent. We need to feed people. But it was really interesting. It only lasted for about 2 to 3 days. And once they were in camp for 2 or 3 days, then they'd be telling other homeless people, don't worry about food, man. More food here than you'll ever eat. And so, yeah, it's an issue. I agree that we have to kind of be careful. But honestly,
We're not
you
gonna
know,
go overboard.
Yeah.
here's my thing. It's just like me growing pot.
Right.
If I look for problems with my plants, I'm going to find them. If I don't, they pretty much grow on their own.
Yeah.
So don't look for problems. If they show up, we'll deal with it.
No, it was just a screening process.
I
Very
won't-
simple screening
I
process.
won't pass my edibles out.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Does anybody have any other questions or suggestions for the food side of things?
Oh, I was just wondering, so if like a church does Maple Valley, they're not necessarily certified then? They don't have to get certified to do that, or?
No, any organization that technically wants to provide enough of a meal to feed all 30 residents plus the 5 staff that are gonna be on
Yeah.
site, technically they're supposed to have done it in a certified kitchen.
Oh, okay, but we
In a
shouldn't just,
commercially certified
oh,
kitchen.
so I shouldn't just assume like the Episcopal Church, they do Maple Alley. I
But
shouldn't
they
just,
have to wash the lettuce across the street because they won't let it into the certified kitchen.
or, I'm sorry, I didn't,
The Maple Alley Cafe is in the old building.
yeah,
And unless they've remodeled it since I was helping, that one doesn't have the commercial drains.
oh,
And so
okay.
anytime they wanted to wash any lettuce or anything, they had to take it across the
They
street,
have to take it, because their certified kitchen is in the main building for St. Paul's.
which they wouldn't
Yes.
let Maple Alley use.
Yeah,
Okay, they can serve, you can serve anywhere, it's the preparation and cooking of it that has to be in a certified kitchen.
So,
Okay.
so if a church does that sort of thing, we can assume that they have a certified kitchen.
I think we
No,
Oh,
that's what my
okay.
question was, it's
No.
like, oh, then we could just go ask the
you
Episcopal
cannot,
Church
you
right now.
cannot
No,
assume
not assume
that churches, all churches have certified kitchens.
Oh, no, not all churches,
If
but
they
if they're
provide that
doing
service
Maple
already.
Valley,
It
then
depends
they
on how hungry I
got
am.
certified,
And yes,
yeah.
if they do provide the service already, then yes, they do in fact have a certified, so I can tell you the
Faith does.
6 off, yeah, the 6 off the top of my head, St. Paul's,
Yeah,
Faith Lutheran, First Baptist, the Salvation Army, okay,
They can do the cooking.
and then there's a couple up in the Linden area.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was just my question.
Okay, so is there
already
anything
doing
after the
Maple
food
Alley,
on
is
the
it safe for me to
agenda?
assume?
I don't know.
Just the,
Right.
volunteers, if I can have that package, Chris.
Yep.
A little bit here. Okay.
Here we go.
So, as far as, the orientation went really well, we had about 31 people, was that what you counted?
31 people were present at the peak.
Mhm.
That's all of us.
If I had the right glasses on, I could tell you some more. I wanted to let Jim know that among our applicants for the residency for Winter Haven, we have just as many that want to volunteer, even if they're not accepted. So that's
Okay.
something to consider in amping up our volunteerism, is that they want to be part of that. So, oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I can't even read this. I guess what we'll do is I'll go ahead and make this available as a PDF, and everyone can kind of look at it and see who they're going to be working with and what positions are still needed and left. Somebody told me yesterday that Amanda was going to handle pet care. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, on-site pet. She might need a couple of assistants. We don't have anyone who volunteered for that. We've got a couple of people that are in several places. So you basically want to look on the list and see where they're needed most, if they're going to be doing several different things. And we of those 30 people, we need to triple that number. We really do need at least 100 people to be helping run with this. So if you have friends, family, I really encourage everyone to please.
And I don't want anybody to panic. We don't have
No.
100 starting.
No.
We'll have 100 by the second week. We're gonna have people coming, jumping on board. It's like Doug and I found out.
You get a lot of
this whole-
hop-ons.
we'll get all these other groups that want to go. Oh yeah, we want to help
Right,
now.
as it's already
Now it's
working.
built and working.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Well,
around the
that's
campfire.
just the
We're-
nature, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like donations. We've got donors. I know we've got donors sitting out there that are like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 donors that haven't donated yet for Winter Haven. And once the gate opens and we have
Okay,
people in
right.
there, all of a sudden I'm going to probably get about $20,000 in donations right away just from, oh, now it's working. I can donate.
I believe now.
Can I also make one suggestion? When you're talking to people about volunteering, okay, because I had this exact discussion that I'm about to tell you about with 2 different people yesterday. Suggest to them, because they feel like, well, I don't know where to start, and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, what's the one thing that you heard that you've got a passion to do? And start and do that, and do it for an hour or 2, and then see where you want to broaden, if you want to do the thing. Keep people from feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work that needs to be done, because some people go, oh my God, I got to help do it all. No, they don't have to do it all.
No, that's my job.
Yeah.
So suggest to them very strongly, pick the one thing that they've got a passion about, and volunteer that 1 hour or 2 hours a week, suggest a week, okay? And let them run with that, and then after amount of time, once they get into the flow of it, then they may do more.
I agree. Of all the people that went ahead and logged in yesterday, the highest amount was under on-site helper. So I said, just get your feet wet, come on site, see how the things are operating, and then
There you
you'll
go.
find your niche. So we got a lot of those. Yes, Jim.
I would like to say on top of that, I would much rather, if you want to volunteer, you pick one project and don't do 2 projects. Do one project. Doug and I started Homes Now with what we called surgical tactics. We didn't want to do summits. We didn't want to do a shower truck. We didn't want to do this. All we want to do is build tiny homes. Because when you try to do it all, nothing gets done.
That's right.
So I'm begging you, if you're volunteering for a project, stay with that project. Don't cross over. If you want to do churches, do churches. Don't cross over here. Just stay. I don't mean this in a mean way or a rude way. Stay in your lane. If you want to do this, then do this. Don't jump over, because what that does is then it gets confusing for the office staff, like who's doing what, who's doing this. Where if you're just doing one thing, we know, okay, well, that's got churches, you've got food prep, you've got security, you got the shower truck, you got everything, and I got everything. And so just pick one project that you're passionate about.
Right.
And then if you don't want to do that project anymore, let us know.
Yeah.
Drop that project totally and jump onto the next project, please.
And it's not to say that you won't intersect with other people's projects. Like, for instance, Lynette and her churches are going to intersect with the food donations because they're kind of connected. But she's networking with churches on a very specific way, and Dana's dealing with food. So they will connect with each other and even have meetings with each other regarding those 2 points, but they're not going to get in each other's lane.
There you go.
So
It just makes it
Thank you.
easier.
It is actually a relief to hear that.
It's what?
It's a relief to hear that, because I have that habit of wanting to do.
spider
Right.
out.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And that way you don't get
Fences.
overwhelmed. You don't go, wow, I gotta do the fence, I gotta do the pallets, I gotta do this. Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
You
No,
pick
that's-
to do one thing and do it.
And for the record, A lot of us are moonlighting in different positions only because we are lacking that volunteer support right now. As soon as we get somebody who's really wanting that position, we'll just put you there, let you have it, and we'll run with it.
And
So-
that goes with what I was saying yesterday at the end of the thing when it was all wrapped up. You know, there were qualified, good people in the room. They're just like not sure how to lead or whatever on it too. It's like if I lead, I'm like, oh, that's too much.
Right.
And I'm like, lead. We're still. Here's the deal. The group of people that's here that's doing it already is going to keep doing it until you take the lead. If you take the lead, you're going to relieve those people for a little while. And if you fail at the lead, these people are going to do it anyway. So so take the lead. Try to draw volunteers to you and do it. And if you fail, then it's okay because so that too. You know, don't be afraid to lead. You know, so this kind of goes hand in hand, but opposite of what you're saying in a way, Dan. You know.
And the whole thing about leading is Homestown's not like any other operation. You don't have to come to me, or Doug, or JC, or Mark, or anybody, and say, hey, is it alright if I do this? Just do it.
Unless it costs money and you want money from Homestead.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And the thing with money, and just to clear that up right now, if it's below $50 and you need something for your project, buy it, bring me the receipt, we'll get it back. If it's over $50, it has to be cleared with me and Doug first. And then we'll say, because we got in this with the shower truck, we got way into people's pocketbooks and it took us a while to get them all paid back. And we're sorry for that. But if it's over $50, you ask us. If it's under $50, go buy. That doesn't mean you can spend $49 today, $49 tomorrow, $49. That means if it stays under 50, we will reimburse you. If it goes over 50, if you spend your money and then come to me with a receipt and say, hey, I just spent $200 and you didn't get it okayed with me and Doug, guess what you just did? You just donated $200. We had that happen on our first tiny home. A lady came and goes, I'll run and go get the paint if you'll reimburse me. And we're like, yeah. Okay, 10 by 10 building. You only need about 1.5 gallons of paint.
Came back with 5 gallons.
She came back with a receipt for $155 and wanted paid back. I paid her back, but I learned my lesson after that. Now I could have gone and got the paint for about $20, but she went and bought the designer version or something. I don't know, gold plated. So that I just want to say, please stay focused on your group. If you surgically do it, imagine how much better it will be done, because then you're not worried about, well, I could put 2 hours in this and then 2 hours over here and then 2 hours over here and then 2 hours over here. And no, I just gotta do this. And the quicker you get your project done, guess what? And you can sit back and laugh at all the people with their heads.
Or move on to the next project.
Yep.
So I'm asking
One thing
everybody in
at a
the
time.
room today to, we do need some donation coordination as soon as the site's up and running, because we don't have any volunteers for that. So I'm kind of gonna ask everyone to pitch in on that until we find somebody who wants to take that on.
Do what now?
What does that mean?
Donation coordination, the donations that are coming in onto the site and being stored on the site or being checked through to make sure it's something we actually need, and then logging all of that. We're gonna have that kind of just happening all the time, and ideally we'll log it in, we'll put it in storage, and then we'll have somebody go into storage, sort through it, make sure it's everything we wanna use or need, and then anything that we don't need, we can either donate or give back to the person that contact them with, we don't need this, or whatever. So, but we need somebody that can kind of coordinate that effort while either on site, it might be just the tenants themselves, the residents themselves will be able to manage that, but if there's somebody who wants to partake in that, that'd be great.
The person that's doing the welcome table, I like that.
welcome table, I love it.
Welcome.
If
That's
they're
awesome.
gonna have a lot of downtime, I would think they would,
They
maybe not a lot, but.
they will be doing check-in and check-out
Welcome guests.
constantly, so that's 20 people, and then whoever comes in as guests coming in and through. So their main job is to check in and check out people, so they
But
might
they
get a little
can do-
bogged down if there's only one person that
They
happens
could
to
But they
Probably
might have
take
some downtime that they could.
They
check
may have some
donations.
downtime, and ideally we would have, if we had a coordinator, that person would set that up as a time frame, like that they would be able to talk to the person that's dropping off and know what time they're coming with their things, and there's somebody there to help organize it. We need someone to kind of organize that a little
And that's
bit.
going to be a resident who's going to be the donation
Probably.
coordinator.
Probably.
And they will be elected every week. It'll change every week.
Excellent. That's the only one that
and
they
that
get filled, so.
they'll have a list. They'll have a check-in thing.
Right.
What was brought, And the rules are, we're not a thrift store. I don't need all your junk, so I can haul it to Value Village and throw it to them. So we get that with the summit. We get people trying to dump shit that
Prom dresses
We-
and high heels.
don't need them. Sorry. I got a lady right now that's begging me to take like 40 bags of kids' clothes. What are we going to use kids' clothes for? No, I told her to take them to Valley Village. Well, I don't want to donate to Valley Village. I'm taking them to the mission. They'll take
Family
them.
Promise. We have networked with other nonprofits
Yeah,
that are
so
working with families.
we'll be careful what we take in, and there'll be a limit when, like non-perishables, we have a limited amount of storage space. We don't have unlimited on site. So once we get, there might be times I say, no, we can't take your food, but the drop-in center will, or this person will.
Yep.
But we won't. And I will be on site all the time. I will be living on site because I'm privileged to be able to do this. And so I'll be doing a lot of the behind the scenes, making sure everything's going good and sitting around the fire.
You'll be there 24/7 living.
Yeah.
Coordinating with the
Clothing
donation coordinator.
donations, I was just thinking, I mean, we're gonna know who the 20 people are who are on site. We can get their sizes and stuff, and then say
Yes.
only if you have these sizes of clothing, bring it
Exactly.
here.
And one
We still
thing
do
is,
summits too.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, we will not be taking stuff for the
No,
summits.
Sherry's handling that. So
That-
I need
Right,
to-
that-
right, no, not a
I mean,
hundred.
tell them
Right, right.
that goes
That's a good
there,
point.
but these
That's a
specific
good point.
sizes
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
The only thing we will be taking on site as far as donations is directly for the Winter Haven residents.
Okay.
We will not be taking stuff to store for the summits. I will call Sherry and go, listen, this lady's here with 4 van loads of stuff. You need to come get it. Because we're not dropping it
Or maybe
here.
we can keep a small bin. Oh, we know the summit needs. That she's asked for us to take these
But-
things in.
I don't want
But
to see
one,
the
one,
transport.
one thing that
No,
will
no,
happen.
no, she can come
She'll
get
have to do it.
One thing that will happen is on Winter Haven, the group, and every morning there'll be a new pin post. I will get up in the morning, talk to everybody in camp, go, what are your needs? Maybe somebody blew their sneaker out, so we'll need a size 12. And I will put a list of needs, just like I did for the sleep out, and that will post by 9 o'clock in the morning.
Excellent.
And then the community will look at it, and then we'll get everything we need. And as soon as everything's got, I will take that pin post down. So if there's no pin post, that means there's no needs. So there's no need to bring any more stuff to Winter Haven.
Well, we have 12 pairs of size 12
So-
sneakers.
Yeah.
So on that note of things that Winter Haven needs, just for clarification and closure from the last meeting, I just want to confirm that that we were able to get the refrigerators we needed, the freezers we needed, the 8-foot tables we need. Looks like people were contacting cash and carry for paper plates, coffee cups, utensils, and cleaning supplies. We're all a go on all of those things.
Got all the clean supplies. We have 2 picnic tables that were built
Okay.
specifically for us by J.R. Plume Company, which are, they're actually about that thick. They're made out of fur, recycled fur.
Yeah.
They are really awesome. With the benches, we have 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers now that people are letting us use. We might only put 1 freezer on site because of electricity. I have to get with our electrician on that. We have everything we need. As far as plates and that, you need to contact Lisa Papp. She was in charge of that, but Lisa Papp's in Mexico right now, so.
And I think.
But you can message her on Facebook.
Okay.
Her and Kathy Leathers were working on that.
Okay.
But I think that they decided that now that we have running water, hot and cold, by the way, in case you haven't heard that news, that's like changes the whole
That's-
game.
Yeah.
We are going with everybody will be issued a plate, a non-breakable plate, set of silverware, a cup, and a bowl, and that is their responsibility.
I'm not
So,
going to network you with you on that question then.
There you go.
so they will be washing their own plates and that, and
And
We-
then take them with them when they leave, right?
No, let's
No.
put the cubby in the kitchen.
What are they gonna be issued? Just issued and then returned?
issued and returned unless they can
They
take
wash
them with them.
and
They
put them in their
go.
little
Yeah.
kitchen locker.
Yeah, because they'll have a locker that can store the stuff in their tent.
That makes sense.
So you already have somebody who has donated the silverware?
Yeah, I think we have
Kathy's done
silverware.
the silverware, yes, yeah, as far as
And if
I'm
not, you
overseeing.
can go to Value Village or
Okay.
anywhere and get it.
And then also, just new things that are needed. Are there any things on a list that we need to coordinate to
I
fulfill?
could not answer that until we're set up. I'm sure there's gonna be a whole
Well, I know
laundry list of
plywood
stuff.
was one list and you were.
Plywood, I'm just going to call Western on Tuesday and order 50 sheets of half inch. Are we right on
I
that?
like half inch.
Okay, half inch.
Yeah, no smaller.
Does it have to
Real
be
ply.
high quality or does
Real
it,
ply.
can it be low
It
quality?
can't be chipboard, it's gotta be real ply, and preferably if it is, like.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be number one
You
grade.
know,
No,
outdoor,
but
outdoor
it should
be
was
AC.
better, but if it, yeah, I mean, AC.
I would go with AC.
And if we can get some cheap paint to hit them with a roller real quick later, that'd be
No,
great, but
Before they are used, they will all be painted with Thompson water.
whatever it is, it's fine, I mean, it can be any paint, really, you can do it, go cheaper if you want, really, just paint.
Thompson water
Okay,
is cheap.
cool. Cool, baby, that's fine.
Okay, so AC half inch, right?
Danielle has something to say.
Do we need to buy like countertops or cabinets or anything like that? Or
Um,
are the tables being used as counter? I don't know.
Charlie is
I'm gonna figure out the kitchen sink, so I'm gonna be
kitchen
looking
sink. We
around.
can go to I think the Restore,
Yes.
Yep.
and they already have them already mounted in a marble top.
Yeah,
All we
you'll
gotta do
have-
is build the.
You'll have to
Yeah.
find somebody to pull the whole countertop out of the
Okay.
kitchen and just head
And
up
then
the
I'm
sink
gonna
in.
be worrying about the washers, so I might go ahead and go for a new fixture, who knows?
Yeah, well, you grab one of those pre-assembled and then just.
Right.
Yeah, we can buy a new picture. That's no
That's $20.
problem. And you need to tell me what fittings we need to get the hot water and that going from the faucets.
Exterior use,
Oh, exterior glue, please.
so you want ACX.
Yeah.
I don't know if Charlie heard you that last thing, Jim, about the fixtures. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we'll just buy a new
We
faucet.
need to buy a new faucet, yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh, the plumbing and stuff.
see if we can get a sink and a countertop, put it up on a stand of any kind and we'll be
I
happy.
want a double sink.
What
Right.
about the build for the outdoor grills, the propane grills, how you manage
That is gonna have to be something Charlie tells me how much lumber we need.
ACX.
Yes, ACX plywood, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. And it is pricier that way, but it just is. That's what we need, we can't have it come apart.
Charlie
Yeah.
and Marcus and you just got volunteered.
Hey.
How you doing? God, your name.
Cause you've got some
John.
brains.
Yeah.
John
We need brains on this
will
part of
be
the job.
in charge of building the shelter for the grills
Okay,
and building a small shelter for the community bulletin board.
for the bulletin board too, okay.
So I need a list of materials that we're gonna have
Does
to
the
buy.
shelter for the kitchen, for the grill area, does that need to be a metal roof?
Yeah, I was thinking using corrugated metal,
Yeah.
like what you see on sightings, just some.
Yeah.
And I think we can get that at the Restore.
I'll
Maybe,
take a look.
it doesn't have to be matching sheets, it just have to be the
The
same
I don't
corrugation.
care. The more color, the better for me.
Yeah. Usually when they send big packs of those, and there's also some metal building places around, they get cover sheets, like Comsteel down at the end of Bakerview or
That
something.
makes some sense,
But
yeah.
they're not necessarily gonna be friendly to the cause, but anyway, but companies like that,
But that's something you three can
All right.
talk about
Right, you guys can work that out.
because I don't want to be involved in that
And then
part.
just that last announcement is that we have, the co-op doing a Coke drive for us right now, so that was.
Yes.
That's really
That's awesome.
exciting, yeah. So that's
They're
all I
doing
have.
that until the 15th, and then also January 19th is seed day for us at the co-op, and we get 2.5% of all proceeds from all three businesses the co-op owns.
Plus,
Wow.
go ahead.
And we need to have volunteers at each spot. We're running a table, and we'll put that up once we get closer to that. My goal is going to try to find 3 homeless people that are residents of Winter Haven to be at the table with the other volunteers so they can meet the people that are in Winter Haven. And also to go along with that, the whole month of January at the co-ops at all 3 locations, you will have the option to up it to the nearest dollar, and we get all that money
Oh,
also.
that's excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
great.
sharing that with your friends. Debbie?
On the 19th as well as Martin Luther King Day, it's a huge event out at Whatcom Community College, and Occupy Bellingham has tabled there just about every year for the last 7 years. And so whatever
Are we able to join
you
you?
want,
Yes.
we will you will be,
Co-op with us?
you will be
Oh, good.
They've
our
already-
topic of the day.
They've already
A lot
reached
of
out
what's
to
going
us,
on right
that
now.
event has already reached out to us, they kinda wanted to,
Independent.
do summit along with it, and we turned them down.
Oh.
And it was gonna be too much to organize that and run Winter Haven.
Okay.
I'm trying
Okay.
to keep it simple, but we do want a table at the event, so.
Excellent. So
Oh,
maybe
which event?
yours.
Oh, the same one.
Yeah,
I have half a table. I'm sharing a table with Veterans for Peace.
Okay.
yeah, but
Homes
they reached
now-
out to us and they've offered us table space.
A whole table.
We just
Ron
can't-
and I are planning on being there, so
We can give you
And-
guys
and
flyers.
wrapping.
We'll give you guys flyers and buttons
Great.
and things if that's
Great.
okay.
if you wanna get more volunteers to be there,
Maybe
fine.
get the- maybe
If
get
you
the banner
don't,
out for 'em or
Ron and I
something.
can do it.
Yeah,
Plus, there's 2 other fundraisers that I've taken off Jim's plate, and he and I have talked about this. I'm finalizing details with the owner of the Black Rock Coffee House,
Nice.
and she is probably going to, more than likely, the 3rd weekend of January, do the whole weekend, and we'll get a certain percentage of sales off of that.
Cool. Very cool.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I'm going to be getting a hold of the Pickford to see if we can show a movie as a fundraiser also. It's a specific movie, and that's all I'm going to say about that at the
Can't we
moment.
say what the title
Because we're
is?
being
The
recorded.
title of the movie is called The Public, and it's a fictional story about a bunch of homeless people that went in and took over a public library.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And can I
Oh, I
simply
remember the preview for that movie.
ask
Yeah.
everyone to sign the petition that we started last year in January, because even though we're doing this great effort for Winter Haven, we need about 50 of these going on right now this year. We got 400 people
and
out
then
there.
there's another fundraiser also, one of their breweries, Kirschland, Colston Brewery. I don't know the date off the top of my head, is doing a pint night for us, so.
Sweet.
All you drinkers, go drink lots of beer
right.
that night. And we get $1 a pint, so,
Yeah, that's cool.
And one more thing from me, if you please, kids. Bottles just like Jim's right there. That's the perfect size. That's the right kind of cap for a good screw down cap that is waterproof. I mean, you can really put a squeeze on that. You can heat that bottle up next to a fire. I need hot water bottles for this hot water bottle program. I want to do this. So just collect me up and rinse them out if you can. Get them to us. I'll give them to me. PM me if you need them picked up, and get them to one of our plate. You know, I'm rolling around a truck. If I see you, I'll just throw it in the truck, and I'll be hauling around a bunch of recycling. But let's get those hot water bottles going, because they'll be really good for Winter Haven as well. I mean, there's hot water running there, so we just hand people a bottle and say, go to bed with that.
That is
Good
and
night.
then
yeah.
we have another fundraiser coming up this summer, just kind of to throw this out here so people can get excited, is KZAX is going to do a summer outdoor concert for us this summer. We plan to have like 6 bands, and then it'll be a donation, and we're gonna work on the details next year. So that's just something that
Is that at Makeshift or is that somewhere else?
Huh?
Where is that gonna be at?
at a park,
Oh, at a park, okay.
maybe
Cool.
Boulevard Park, wherever. Their goal is to bring. Oh no, that's right. That's why I'm so excited about it. You want to know where it's gonna be?
Where?
On the golf course.
No.
Nice.
Seriously?
Yeah, at the country club, they're trying to turn that into a venue for concerts.
Perfect.
Oh, really?
I
So
love
we're
it.
going to take.
Wow.
Then their goal is they want to bring 2,000 people in. So.
Are we talking about the Bellingham Country Club?
Yep.
Okay.
There's one other thing that's semi-related to Winter Haven that I want you to all know about. I went to the county every other month meeting of the County Advisory Committee on Housing a few days ago, okay? And one of the things that's been mandated by the state is that every county has to come up with a comprehensive plan to, well, actually deal with the homelessness issue.
Seriously.
Yes,
That would be fun.
seriously.
Where's their plan?
So, I know, we're part of the plan, but one
How
of
do
the
they
things.
enforce
one of-
that at Lewis?
Yeah, well, one of the things that they want to do is they actually want to go out and set up times and dates to be able to talk to people that are actually in a homeless state or have recently been in a homeless state, find out how they ended up getting into that, what it was that they had in the way of barriers to get out of it, what is it that they need, and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that I'm not representing Homes Now in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going there as an individual, but I've already put a number of ideas into their brains about the homeless people don't work in the same scheduling universe the 9-to-5ers do.
And how much is that all gonna cost for them to find that database that we actually
Well,
have?
no, but they are really, no, I got the sense of everybody that was sitting there that they are beyond frustrated, every one of them, because they would like to do more, but their hands are tied because they just flat don't have the funding for it. Okay? And they said as much, but that's what they.
Yeah, we have heard that kind of talk before too. haven't we?
Yeah.
One other thing is, Homes Now, as Jim, I'm not speaking for everybody, nobody has to join me, but Homes Now has signed up to help do the point in time count that they do every year. And the reason I did is because we're gonna cheat like hell. We're not going to cheat, we're gonna do it the way it used to be done. It's going to be done the right way. We are gonna count people in their vehicles, we're gonna count people that are couch surfing, we're gonna count quadrupled up people. And they're going to be amazed at what we find.
Yes.
And they're gonna go,
We're gonna
wait, you
keep those
guys got too
separations
many.
notated, right?
No, you don't have to.
No,
This is,
we all
are
get
you
it.
homeless?
Yeah.
Right on.
Why surf a couch? Then you are homeless, sign up.
My friend Frank is renting a couch. It's costing him $100 a month.
Yep, that's homeless.
I mean,
So, yeah, so we are teaming up with Lumley,
It's a step.
Stepping Stones out on Lumley. They did this last year. That's why the number is going up so much, and the people that were running the point in time count got upset. It's like, how come you came up with so many more
They
numbers?
wanna
And
make
they're
those
like,
numbers as low
because
as
we
possible.
counted it the right way. And
you got scheduled for this?
they accepted it, and so Nick Lewis reached out to me this year and asked if Homes Now would step up and help them this year,
You got a
so
date?
we can even raise
Yeah,
it
it's
more.
about the third week in January.
Yeah.
Week in January.
So I'll get that all the details, but I want to wrap this meeting up. I've taken up enough of your Sunday. Anything else anybody needs answers to? Ideas?
Flu shots.
Oh, yeah.
Flu shots, yes. If you have
Consider
not
giving
had a flu
yourself
shot.
a flu shot.
And if you were going to volunteer at Winter Haven, I would beg you to please get a food handler's permit, so if that ever comes into play, we all have food handler's permit. I know Doug and I and a bunch of volunteers last year got food handler's permits.
And if you want to
I
know
never got
how
one,
to do
but I
it,
can
just
get
get a
one.
hold of me.
Yeah.
I'll direct you.
It's
I have
$10.
one of the books if
$10.
anybody wants that. I have the
Cost you
handbook.
$10.
It costs you $10 to do it online.
Yeah.
It's
We
good
can
for
post
two.
the link
It's good
on
for
our-
2 years.
Our site, and you guys
Yeah,
can
I'll
get
do
the
it.
link.
Do it
man.
online now?
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do it online. So,
You have to do it online.
anything else?
There is no choice.
You cannot do it any other
Can't
way.
go to the health.
No, just soda bottles, guys. I mean, get them here because when it's cold, all of a sudden we go, oh, where's the soda bottles? Let's get them.
Do you have any use for 2 liters? Cause that's all I got.
Yeah.
2 liters will work great in the camp because people will just fill up a gallon jug and take it to their tent. Man, they're gonna be so happy. You know? They'll just take a fiver.
Does that cool down in like 10 minutes?
As possible. Got it.
No, it's
In fact, if
Not if
you
you put it inside your sleeping bag, it actually keeps
take
you
a bottle
warm.
that size and put it right between your legs and your sleeping bag,
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning, it'll be your body temp. And what you've done is regulated your temp because you get those shivers at night, and that's when you really lose you lose everything right then.
Can I
The
have
shivers.
everyone's permission to
And
get
that stops the
photos of
shivers.
this meeting? If anybody wants to smile, but if you don't duck out, we're gonna get some pictures here of everybody who showed up.
Sign it.
Can you
Anything
do a
else?
panorama shot?
I wish I could, I'm not skilled at that.
I think we've covered it all. I want to, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I'm told sometimes I don't recognize volunteers. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for stepping up. It means the world to me because you guys are making this happen. If it wasn't for the volunteers, nothing would have happened. And we have done incredible work in the last year and 8 months. And I can't wait for 2019 because here's what's on the schedule. April, we start Unity Village, our first village of 20. About July, we're going to start our second Unity Village of veterans, 20 more tiny homes. August, we're going to start our third one for women, 20 homes. And then at the end of September, hopefully we can build our last one of 20 homes for families. You say that's a pipe dream? Well, I'm not the only one that likes to dream, and we can do this. We have the momentum. We have to capitalize on this. We have investors now that are stepping up to buy land for us, so land's not going to be the issue. And after Winter Haven's such a huge success, I'm sure the city's got land there are gonna hand to us and go, here, no strings attached, have fun. Nah, that won't.
I'm saying, that's some good stuff.
Does whatever.
Who writes your material?
What?
What's your speech yesterday? Had
One of my-
some singers in it.
One of my
And
27
and
personalities.
hopes this is Walker County by 2020.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Right? So
yeah, that's our goal.
Oh, and I will be on Bellingham TV. That's my interview this coming Friday. They're doing a half-hour segment on me. And
So that volunteer list that was around, is that